What's up, YouTubers? Welcome to my channel. I'm your host, Infamous JB. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, I'm presenting you with a subscriber appreciation graffiti piece time-lapse video. This one is for surpassing 450 subs. Super appreciate all the support. Let's keep growing. The lucky sub this time was TRAN. Congratulations again, my friend. What's different about this video from all the other time-lapse videos is this is my first one done in virtual reality. Exciting, isn't it? New to the Kingspray program, so still trying to figure everything out, but had a great time streaming the project. Before we jump into it, make sure to leave the video a like while you're here, please, and subscribe if you're not already. Now let's get into it. Since I did the sketching part in such a light color, decided to cut it out of the video because you couldn't really see what I was doing anyways. The video was long enough as it is. What I didn't mention in the intro was this was a freestyle. I had no concept in mind prior to starting this piece. I just sketched it onto the wall. That's why it looks like a mess of yellow lines everywhere. I do believe for the fill color, I asked the viewers that were watching me at the time, what colors should I do? I don't remember who said what though, unfortunately. But there's something about white that I always love. Just the crispiness of it, I don't know. Even my vehicles are typically white. I find it interesting that technology has come so far that we have programs like this these days. It's mind-blowing. Especially coming from somebody who's been around quite a bit of video games in his life. I still remember when VR sort of became a thing back in the early 90s. I had a friend that was going to a community college near where I lived, and I went to go visit him at the school, and they had an exhibit where you can try out, and it was still very polygon, or there is a name for it where it's just the wire design. There was no details. There was nothing like it is today. Not sure if they were marketing it as an arcade game or potential for classes at the college to learn 3D and animating. I don't really remember. It was quite a long time ago now. I never really know what I want to do when it comes to the background detailing. I really feel lost here. Like, I want to do something unique, I just never can think of something unique to do, so I default to sort of these lame bubbles in the background that you see like every graffiti artist do in their lifetime. It gets old after a while. I really need to push myself in that department of graffiti. The crazy thing is with graffiti, you can do pretty much anything you want to, which is so crazy to me that I can't think of anything, or I'm just overwhelmed with all the possibilities that I just don't pick one. You know, I suppose that's what style is when you sort of repeat certain elements over and over in your pieces, and that people recognize, and that sort of becomes your style. Now the shading and the shadowing is something I truly enjoy doing on pieces. That's when it really starts to give it depth, weight, and pop. You know, it really starts to stand off the wall. It believes that the light sourcing really brings it alive. The feeling here with the background is I either could have went bigger and it would have been cool, or do more shadowing to really pop it further up off the wall and let the letters speak for themselves. Doing fill-ins was never really my strong suit. Like, I never really feel comfortable. I just don't know what I want to do, like all the little detailing and everything. I mean, I know I can do anything I wanted to. I just draw a blank when I'm in front of the wall like this. I mean, eventually I'll push something out, and sometimes it's cool, other times not so cool. This one here in particular, I thought it was kind of cool by the final, the finished product. Even though my urge is to like just detail the hell out of it. But sometimes less is more, and you just need to do small little details that really bring it out. The thin lines that I did inside the letters, I thought was a nice touch. So this is where I had to take a break from the wall, and I found these items lying around that weren't there the last time I played, or at least I don't remember them being there. So I had fun playing with the paddle ball, shooting off the fireworks and everything like that. It's kind of cool that they added those things. And speaking of, even the ladders, I don't remember the ladders being there previously playing, so I think they added them in, which allowed me to reach higher up on the wall, which was awesome. Now what you see me painting here is the 450 for the 450 subscribers that I reached on my channel. This piece here was a subscriber appreciation piece for when I reached that milestone. And TRAN was the name that was randomly selected out of all the subscribers that I have. Now I did try and reach out to let them know that they were selected and that I was going to be doing this piece for them. I didn't hear back from them. I don't know if they don't really check their YouTube so often, I suppose, and so I'm hoping that someday they might just happen to come across it on my channel at some point if they want to catch up on my content. Well, if you couldn't tell by now, the idea was trying to make it look like metal or gold, so it was shiny and the light was reflecting off the beveled edge on it. It actually took quite a long time to paint these, a lot longer than you would think, you know, with the time lapse and everything, but to try and get all the shading and just the little tight areas and not being so great with the Kingspray program itself, like I really had to struggle with it and try not to get frustrated, but overall I think it came out pretty decent. I have to say, I do appreciate that the Kingspray program has a camera that sort of floats around and changes angles and everything like that. Sure cuts down on sort of editing time and trying to do that kind of stuff, or get different camera angles throughout the whole thing. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I really love how it does the first person close up on the hand like this. You really get to see what it is I'm doing on the wall. But a whole video in that perspective is something that I'm not a fan of, and I see a lot of those videos on YouTube, to be honest. Not hating, just stating. Here's where I'm trying to put the drop shadow on the 450 to pop it up off the wall. You can never really have enough shadowing with graffiti. The 450 was sort of a side thought that I just jumped into in the middle of doing this, so back to doing the thin lines. Another reason why I like this program so much is for just that reason of the thin lines. Is it really helps with the muscle memory of holding the line straight. Now I know you're not actually holding a can, but when you are at a wall, it is still the same muscle movements that you make to try and keep that line as straight as possible. Which in all honesty is the hardest thing for any new spray painter graffiti artist, is to make a straight line. And if you think it's easy, I triple dog dare you to go pick up a can and spray a straight line and show it to me. You might just win yourself something. See these little details I'm doing now? They're just like the bubbles. They're not very unique. You see them in a lot of graffiti. Someday, I hope to have a better detailing repertoire. Oh boy, back to the bubbles. At least I'm adding more in different colored ones. Gives it a little more visual presentation. This is one of those moments when I meant I could have went bigger with the background. I could have just made the bubbles a lot bigger and more pronounced instead of these little dots everywhere. I even have a saying when it comes to graffiti: when in doubt, go bigger. I guess I just didn't heed my own word of advice on this one. Proof that when I said I draw a blank when I get in front of the wall is exactly what happened here. Back to the drop shadows. Any graffiti artist that wants to learn how to make their letters more dimensional, you really have to understand your light sourcing and where your shadows would be going. That's what really makes the letters pop up off the wall or the page. Hope you're enjoying the beats in this one. They were produced by a few different people. Two of them are artists that have their own channels here on YouTube, 10 Bones and Teks, Sket, and one of them is an IRL friend of mine, Jersan. Speaking of which, this is one of his beats that's playing now. Jersan and I go way back. In fact, it wasn't too long after moving to San Diego, California. He became the hip-hop DJ for the crew we were part of, the Underground Lounge, which is truly where I got my notoriety here in San Diego as a DJ back in the early 2000s. Shit, we even got to share the stage with Alicia Keys before she got really big. That's definitely a moment in my history that I'll never ever forget. The only thing I sort of regret about that encounter is that I didn't personally introduce myself to her. And sad to say it, it was only because I had my own ego at that time. I never want to come off starstruck, because nobody was better than me. Not that I was better than others either. I just didn't gush over people that others usually do, because they're just other humans to me. But in hindsight, I really do wish I got to meet her personally. You know, I even love that they have pigeons flying around. It really helps with the immersion of the program. I'll say, if you haven't tried VR yet, I definitely recommend it. It's so much fun. I understand that it's a little pricey, but if you can swing it, it's definitely worth it. Not only do I have a blast in the Kingspray doing graffiti, I have so much fun playing other VR games, and so many of them are actually free, which is kind of crazy because it's so awesome. One saving grace about these bubbles is the shadowing that I did on them. It's pretty much the only thing I like about them. I'll tell ya, the outline is the bane of the graffiti artist. If your outline doesn't look clean, your piece doesn't look clean. This is that moment when, no matter how well the pieces come along up to this point, I know I'm going to get frustrated. The outlines always trigger me because I want them to be so precise, and my can control is not there yet, so it's very frustrating. Few advantages of practicing in Kingspray. One of them is having the ability to undo a mistake. I know there's some purists out there that'll give me flack about using the undo because in IRL situations you don't have the undo, but for practicing it's kind of a good thing to keep doing the same line over and over again. It's how you learn muscle memory. Not saying that this program is anywhere near actually using spray paint. I mean, the sounds of the cans, the smell of the paint, there's nothing like it. Now that the piece is almost done, a few little details here and there, some cleanup, and you know I had to put the subscriber appreciation somewhere. So I decided to do a fancy flared out style tag, finished off with some purple embellishments. I think it looks pretty fresh. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, leave it a thumbs up, leave a comment if you feel so compelled. If you're not already subscribed, I implore you to hit the sub button if you enjoy the content. A lot of it is actually for my subscribers. Plus, that's all you have to do to have a chance of getting your name created in graffiti on the live stream. I also stream all these projects on Twitch, so make sure to give me a follow over there. If you got Twitter, that's where I notify when I'm gonna go live and what I will be doing on the show. If you got Instagram, that's where I post pictures of the projects that I'm currently in the process of creating. I do the stories a lot. Heck, I even have a Discord if you're into that social media and gaming as well. My name is the same on all those platforms, so you shouldn't have a hard time finding me. Would like to know more about the music producers for this video? The appropriate links and info are posted below. Enough of my rambling ons. I'm going to be humble like a toy and go practice.